Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show. And today we're talking about Marvel's Spider-Man 2, particularly Miles Morales being the topic of discussion today. Because Insomniac, and mind you, I'm probably going to freely talk about spoilers for the game. It's been a little minute for a really short game, mind you. So we're just going to talk about the game freely at this point. But Insomniac has seemingly confirmed that Miles Morales will indeed be the Spider-Man moving forward in their game. And it's worthy of a discussion, man, because how we got here is interesting to say the least. But my general thoughts. Well, first off, I want to say to those couple of people in my Spider-Man 2 review that were like, "Oh," when I mentioned that Peter had retired toward the end of my review, and those couple of people that replied and said, "Oh, Peter didn't retire. He's just taking a break as Spider-Man for now." And guys, look, man, I just want to give you a tidbit of truth here. I know that, some people like to be lied to, whispered sweet nothings in their ear, but here's the truth, guys. Let me bring this mic up really close, really, really close. Okay, can you hear me? Good, good, good. They do not want him as Spider-Man. Okay, they do not want Peter Parker. The narrative completely just makes Peter Parker look like dog shit from the very start to the very finish of Marvel's Spider-Man 2. That alone doesn't tell you that they don't want him as Spider-Man, make him out to be the most incompetent, always falls short in every given situation, sacrificing despite having the most help than ever before, than any period of time, being Spider-Man, having the most help than ever before, being from Mary Jane, who's OP as fuck, to Miles Morales, who seemingly makes zero mistakes the entire game, besides getting nipped in the side, which doesn't cost him anything at all. Guys, Peter is trash. They've made it very blatantly obvious they don't want him. And they disinvited him at the end of the game because, well, he wants to take his personal life more seriously. So the fact that people tried to correct me on that, you just didn't see what was happening right before your eyes. You are the Sandra Bullock meme where she's wearing the blindfold over her eyes, guys. Okay, you see nothing. And you choose to see. It's out of ignorance, but I don't take this as a jab towards Miles. I think that he is truly deserving. Peter Parker is an incompetent garbage Spider-Man. He's proven it the entire time. And Insomniac has proven they are completely incompetent when it comes to Spider-Man. To Peter Parker in particular, they are incapable of writing. I don't know what's happened between Spider-Man 2018 and this Marvel Spider-Man 2, but Insomniac went from being competent at writing a decent Spider-Man, decent Peter Parker, to becoming completely incompetent in writing a decent Peter Parker. But to get into the actual interview itself from Gizmodo here, Spider-Man 2's writers break down the game's big spoilers. So we're going to skip down. It's a little bit past here to a very serious question. And Gizmodo asks the writers, "You said earlier you basically knew right away that you wanted playable Venom. Does that also apply to the ending of the game with Miles as the main Spider-Man from now on?" And Morris says, "It always felt very natural, and I think we all collectively thought it would happen. To me, it shows a great deal of evolution from Miles. At the beginning of the game, we see him struggling to figure out what he wants to do with his life. By the end, we had Miles carrying the burden of saving the city and also carrying Pete when Pete wasn't strong enough to carry himself at various points." So here's two things that he says here. First off, he says Miles is struggling to figure out what he wants to do with his life. Yes, but at the same time, Miles never struggles as Spider-Man. He is a near perfect Spider-Man this entire game. And he also says that he's carrying Pete toward the end when he wasn't strong enough. Pete wasn't strong enough this entire video game. From the very beginning, Miles has to save Pete in regards to when he goes up against Sandman, Miles has to save Pete when they're doing that whole segment when they're going across the water. These are two very early segments of this game. So Peter is incompetent then. Peter falls short at the end of the game itself. Miles has to obviously save Harry because, well, Peter just sucks, man. He's just garbage from beginning to end. At no point is Peter capable of carrying himself in this game. Matter of fact, Peter can't even fend off a fucking fridge. Okay? I mean a PS5 because yes, oh man, but continuing, they said, that's what's been so cool about writing a story about two Spider-Men. They're both strong, and one of them can be strong when the other is not. So basically, this entire game, it's been that. The entire game of Marvel Spider-Man 2 is that Peter Parker is not strong at all, the entire game. And Miles Morales has to carry him. So that's just what it is. By the end, Miles is more confident that he's like, yeah, I got this. How much worse can things get after we just went through? And Afferman, to echo what Brittany said, the idea of a two Spider-Man story was always really essential to this game. I think pretty early on, we knew that what we wanted and to have that moment of handing the reins over. And as we developed it, as we started to lay down more track leading to that moment, it just felt more and more right. I think it was John who wrote the scene in Aunt May's garage, and it's one of my favorite scenes. The way that Miles insinuates exactly what Peter's thinking and stops him from stumbling through trying to hand over the mask. Miles going, I got this, bro. It's such a great moment between the two of them, and it felt like such a natural conclusion. I'm not sure when specifically we decided to do that, but it always felt like the only way the game could end. And in regards to that, I get it. It's one of those things where I don't think it's organic, at least on Peter's part, because they specifically destroyed this character in this game in order to make other characters shine. They had Miles and Mary Jane eating off of Peter's plate, and Peter's like, can I get some more protein, guys? That's just what it was pretty much the entire game. And it's a shame, really. I think that they could have crafted a far better story in which both characters got to shine. But that actually takes skilled writing. So I guess that we don't have that. But there's multiple reasons this indeed could be happening. One that I think is worth noting in this situation that is an outside of the gaming realm of Spider-Man is particularly that the Steve Ditko estate is fighting for Peter Parker's Spider-Man rights. That is something that cannot be ignored, guys. I don't understand the legalities of it, but I know that that is still a thing. I think it's not even just Spider-Man, like Peter Parker's Spider-Man. I think it's other characters as well that Steve Ditko had created. Shout out to Steve Ditko. But his estate is suing Marvel over Spider-Man, over Peter Parker. So that is highly concerning for the future of Peter Parker's Spider-Man. So to think, what would make sense is building up other spider people, whatever the fuck, just in case, on a rainy day in which maybe Marvel has to share the rights of Peter Parker, which would be concerning for them, obviously, since they want to maximize profits, even though they don't really seem to be showing that they want to maximize profits. But what I also want to say is, I think that Insomniac are absolute fucking cowards. And hear me out, guys. We could have, with the ending of Marvel Spider-Man 2, we could have had a sort of homage to Ultimate Spider-Man itself. Spoilers for Ultimate Spider-Man. Peter dies. And I'm sure a lot of people who claim to be Miles fans don't even know why Miles was created. Miles was created in this Ultimate Spider-Man universe, well, specifically because Peter's dead. And so they were just like, well, let's create a new Spider-Man to kind of take over in that universe. And there was born Miles Morales. And, I question a lot of Miles Morales fans because over the past 10 years, if you look at Miles Morales' sales in regards to comic books, you're not really convinced that Miles Morales has fans, but I digress. But overall, you could have had a great homage to Ultimate Spider-Man in itself, where you do kill off Peter Parker. He dies in a way that makes him look good, that it makes him the selfless individual that he is, because this ending in Spider-Man 2 does not show that Peter is selfless at all. If anything, it shows that he's selfish, really. But like I said, this game has done nothing but tear down Peter Parker as a character. You could have had a scenario in which you choose not to be a coward in Insomniac Games. Have Peter die in a selfless way that feels very Peter Parker Spider-Man, and Miles Morales does take the reins naturally. Because that's essentially kind of what happens in Ultimate Spider-Man. It would have been a great homage to Ultimate Spider-Man, and you guys would have did a serious, like, character moment for Peter, and a serious character moment for Miles. You could have been, you could have been not cowardice and killed off your bread and butter. They're basically, we want to have our cake and eat it too. Well, if this Miles Morales thing doesn't work out so well, we could just bring back Peter Parker. And it goes to show that they don't really believe in Miles Morales. They never did. And it just is what it is. But I think that if they would have been actually, the only way to prove that they were serious is to kill off Peter Parker, and to have done it in a respectable way. Not that they've respected Peter at all, this entire game, but I think that that would have been a great homage to Ultimate Spider-Man that really feels right. It's the only thing that really does feel right at this point, and would have been entertaining, interesting. I would have cried like I did at the end of, Marvel Spider-Man, the first game. But we can't have nice things, guys, because we have creators that are cowards but want to, bullshit with our favorite, comic book character of all time. And so it is what it is in that regard. But that's my overall thoughts on Miles Morales becoming the Spider-Man. I think that it is deserved. Not specifically because, well, Insomniac built up Miles Morales in this really great way that it feels natural. No, because they beat down the OG Spider-Man. They made Peter garbage. And so I think that, yes, Miles should become the Spider-Man now, because he's proven to be in Marvel Spider-Man 2 the only competent Spider-Man. So yes, get Peter Parker the fuck out of my face. He is trash. Insomniac, you should not be allowed to write for this character anymore. You've proven that you're absolutely incompetent. And yeah, guys, that's sort of all I gotta say about that. Let me know what you think about this situation, guys. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitter or Kick if you'd like to continue the conversation. And you have a RoboCop remake excuse me, not a RoboCop remake, a RoboCop review to look forward to, guys, in the near future. I'm coming very close towards the end of the game. I've been doing all the extra content that I do come across because I'm really enjoying the game. So that's something I have to look forward to since you guys requested it in my last video. Definitely check out my last video if you haven't, guys. And with all being said, I am out. Peace.